Mhm.
So hello everyone. So we are again back with our video series on the weekly analysis of the current affairs that has been in the news. So today we are going to start with the last week analysis. So first it will be 20th November, the day after the India lost the World Cup. So how are you feeling, Samruddhi,
I was
about
feeling
India's
good
loss?
before you mentioned about World Cup,
Okay.
but I am
So yeah. So
uh, never mind. Continue.
yeah, yeah. The motto of the life should be move on. Yeah,
Hmm.
so moving on, the first topic was about CSR. So, can you tell me, Samruddhi, which committee had recommended about the CSR,
It was Injeti Srinivas committee.
and which was the first country to make the CSR mandatory?
I don't know that, Pawan. You have to tell me
Are
that.
exactly,
It was
you can guess
India,
which
is it?
country it is
It
obviously
is
India.
India.
India was
Okay.
the first country to make the CSR mandatory, and around I think around 2% of the last 3 years profit the companies needs to invest. And
Okay.
Injati Srinivas committee had also recommended to diversify the sectors on which the CSR money is being spent, other than your education and health sector.
Okay.
Yeah. So second topic was about the managing stubble. Stubble burning is very prominent issue in the especially in the Delhi NCR region. It may not be a issue in the place where you are living in Pune or in Nasik, but in Delhi it is a horrible situation, like the stubble burning that is going on in the Punjab area or the Haryana area. It is causing the Delhi air to choke, and here we are not able to step outside after the evening time. So
Yeah.
that is the situation. So, uh, can you tell me what are the alternatives that can be used to use for the stubble burning? Like government is planning to introduce certain type of ethanol policy, or say direct seeding of rice. So can you tell me those plan to manage the stubble burning
See, right
so that
now,
we can breathe?
yes, yes. Of initially, now there was a talk to replace the crop with another one which has a shorter number of days of growing days. So that can
Yeah.
be one thing done. The crops, the number was something, I don't recall the number now. We have to check
Yeah,
that.
Pusa some 48
Yeah,
as
it's
like
Pusa,
this was the
but can we just check it once? Just a moment.
yeah, we can check it later, but yeah, the it is a fact. Yeah, moving ahead, matlab, basic idea is to shorter the duration of the crop cycle,
Hmm. Hmm.
because
Right.
when the crop cycle gets increased, it gives farmers less time to prepare the field for the next cycle. So that's why they, in a hurry, they burn the crop residue.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it is not their fault, obviously. So we need to decrease the crop cycle. So whatever it was, Pusa something it was. So yeah, moving on to the other options. Other options, I think DSR, direct seeding of rice, was also in
Yes.
the news, and the government was planning to introduce the Happy Seeder machine, which can be used to directly plant the rice without growing it in a nursery and then replanting in the field, flooded field. So that is also an option, and
Now, this direct
government
seeding
is
will has two positive things, that it will reduce the time, it will save time also, and it will eliminate the burning also. So it's two-way
yeah.
positives.
And another one was to, I think, government was planning to incentivize the the farmers by making them pay for that stubble
Hmm.
to make. I think it was ethanol blending. Some
Yes, yes. To
Yeah,
redirect
Haryana
the
government has
stubble,
already.
yeah, redirect the stubble to ethanol production. That was the thing. But again, it has some another repercussions, like farmers will grow more of those crops which are beneficial for ethanol if they give more uh, price to ethanol blending crops. So
Mm.
that is another
every
issue
every
altogether.
every
But
policy has certain
yeah,
positives and
for
negatives. So
yes,
yeah,
yes. For
as
stubble
there's a
burning,
saying there.
these are three or four things: direct seeders, direct
Mm,
seeding, happy seeders, then changing the crops itself, reducing the lifespan, Then what we just discussed
And
about the ethanol,
there
it
is
has been
also
stubble
issue
in
of
ethanol.
ethanol. There is also issue of crop diversification, I think, because the Punjab and Haryana belt especially is going on a monocropping pattern.
Hmm.
That is actually harming the soil as well as the groundwater table. That is as the area is already under the arid condition, semi-arid condition. So it is actually harming the situation. So if government starts incentivizing other crop other than wheat and rice, then it will also be beneficial not only for the food security or nutrition security of the country, but also for the environmental purpose of the country as well. Yeah, never mind. So moving ahead, Haryana and Punjab High Court had struck down the Haryana's private sector job quota.
Hmm.
So that was a big issue to be discussed. But in a nutshell, we can only say that Article 16 uh, doesn't allow the government to discriminate on the basis of birth, caste,
Homicide.
sex, or place of birth, whatever, yeah, domicile. And so that was a high court to struck down that it is a big issue in itself. So it is not a sufficient. We do not have sufficient time to discuss it in detail. So coming on to the next topic, rupee was being proposed to be introduced as a hard currency, but certain Indian ministers have said that time has not still arrived to declare rupee as a hard currency. So do you know what is a hard currency?
Hard currency is one which is stable and upon which other
Hmm.
currencies can depend or market.
Yeah,
It
yeah. So there are
revolves around.
currently, I think, five hard currencies, if I remember it correctly, um, which is also part of SDR basket.
Yeah.
It
Recently,
is US dollar,
China's currency was added in
uh
2016.
US dollar, uh, pound, euro, Japanese yen, and Chinese yuan.
Chinese renminbi.
These are the five currencies. Okay. So moving on to the next day's topic, simultaneous election. Simultaneous election. It is something that is very interesting in to discuss about. Uh,
We need
in
another
19,
whole video to discuss
yeah, we need
simultaneous elections.
another whole video, but in a nutshell, we can say that since till 1961 or 62, the election were held simultaneously. That is the Lok Sabha election as well as the all the assembly election. But after that, since we know that government falls, certain president rule is being imposed in certain states, and the rule says that a government formed in any of the state or the Lok Sabha has to stay for 5 years, not the remaining, not to complete the remaining term. So that's why even if the government falls, let's say after 2 years or 3 years, the new government that will come into the picture after the fresh election, it will continue for more for next 5 years. So that actually has caused this delay or the difference in the time period of the election of the assembly as well as the Lok Sabha election. So government is again planning to introduce simultaneous election, but there are certain restrictions, there are certain issues that can be highlighted with, for example, the national election, the Lok Sabha election, fought on different issues altogether, and the state elections are fought on different issues. But if you pack both of them, then there
The
might be a
local
situation
issues
where
might get subsumed under the national issues, and
national
also
issues.
the political charismatic leaders, which we have at the
Hmm.
national level, they will
Hmm.
take place of the local MPs and MLAs.
Yeah, but on the same hand, it will also reduce the expenditure that is being incurred
Yeah,
on the time period in which the whole of the country is in the election mood all through the year, be it in some other state, be in some northern state, in the southern state, or in the national election. So it will also save some certain time. Yeah, so never
yes,
mind.
it
So
will. And one thing
so
to
the next
note
topic was,
is that our
yeah.
election commission is ready to hold simultaneous elections with its machinery and all its
Hmm.
uh, outreach. But the legislature has to look into this after all. Yeah.
Yeah, certain amendment need to be passed, and the states needs to be taken into the confidence to pass that motion. Obviously, it will be a difficult task to do, but let's see what happens. So next topic was about governors' role in passing the bill. So governors are doing trouble all over the country,
Yeah,
you can
since
say,
time immemorial.
in the yeah, since the British rule. So what actually the article says? Article 163. I have this article 163. So it
Mm.
says that it deals with the powers of the governor generally, and Article 200 specifically deals with the issues of granting assent to the bills. So, what is the procedure? When a bill passed by the legislature of a state is presented to the governor has four options: either grant assent, withhold the assent, return the bills for reconsideration, or reserve the bill for the reconsideration of the president. But Article 200 reads that when a bill is being passed by the legislative assembly of a state, or in case of a state having a legislative council, has been passed by both the houses of the legislature of the state, it shall be presented to the governor, and the governor shall declare either that he assents to the bill, or that he withholds the assent therefrom, or that he reserves the bill for the reconsideration of the president. A very lawyer advocate like language. So, in a nutshell, it can be said that a governor cannot withhold, matlab, governor cannot sit on the bill for the longer time. Either he has to give the assent or he has to return that bill for the reconsideration. And once the legislature has reconsidered and passed that bill again, then he has to give his assent. But the governors are not doing that. So Supreme Court has directed governors to follow the rule and be in their constitutional limit. So that is the basic thing. And if you want to add something to the
No,
point.
that's it. This is all about static polity part. Nothing much to
Hmm.
add and discuss on this.
Okay, so the next topic was on 22nd, and a very important topic, like the Quad that has been formed between India, US, Japan, and Australia. And they all have decided, uh, not on paper, not officially, they have said that this group is to contain the China, but everyone knows that its main motive is to contain the China in the Indo-Pacific region. But what we have seen recently, that US, Australia, and Japan both have uh, met. All the three president and prime ministers have met Xi Jinping recently, but India is refusing to restore its bilateral talks amid the 2020 what happens in the Ladakh region. So, how do you see this? Uh, what we can say, that how do you see this development, that how it will affect the Quad future, and will China be able to engage with the US, Australia, and Japan, and be able to sideline the India in that process?
No, I don't think so. India would be sidelined, but India won't be restarting the talks with China unless there is a proper settlement with border issues. And that is the realistic view of international relations. And when we say that US, Australia, and Japan are engaging with China, that's because they have their own interest. Apart from international relations, they have their own interest with China. So, Quad on one hand is different, and these relations can be seen as different. Quad's
Mm,
discussions won't be affected, but there can be a talk of these powers. There can be a pressure on India to restart the bilateral initiatives. But it's again, I don't think, and it's nothing about me to think, but as we are going with realistic view, like the realist
yeah,
view of Paul Science, so uh, it's
yeah,
just
and
wait and watch thing. We can't say a lot of it.
Japanese Prime Minister has met Xi Jinping on the margins of Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit.
Hmm.
It is the same organization in which India is not the part yet, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, and that's why it is still named as Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. If
Hmm.
India has
Not
been the part, then
Indo-Pacific.
it would have been Indo-Pacific Economic. And actually, we have another group named that Indo-Pacific Economic Framework.
Yes,
So we
yes.
will discuss both of them. But coming to transgenders in the army, so transgenders, introduction of transgender in the army is a next thing to think for our legislator or for our policy maker. But what we have seen that in India, especially from the 2014 onwards, that Nalsa judgment by the Supreme Court, the involvement of the third gender, or say the other gender other than male and female, their acceptance in the society is increasing, and many of the Supreme Court ruling are have gone in their favor. Actually, in today's newspaper, I was reading about. Uh, just give me a time.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article in today's newspaper itself about the
Today's as in
uh,
27th November. Yeah.
yeah, 27th number, हिजड़ों का खाका, that was
Kanka.
built by Khaka, that was built in the Lodi era, and there was a something like they were called as EUNUCHS. I don't know how to pronounce it, but in the Mughal era, these EUNUCH, whatever it is pronounced,
Eunuchs.
held responsibilities. Yeah, held responsibilities such as guardians of the female quarters within the palace, administrator, military commander, envoys, intelligence agent, collectors of land revenue, managers of various business ventures. So these were all handled by these so-called third gender community. And the chronicles such as Babar Nama and Akbar Nama also provide compelling evidences of the acknowledgement of this hijra as the distinct third gender, exercising considerable political and social influence in the Mughal courts. And in last, there is a statement about that from a person belonging to a third gender community. The that says that that is us. This is our ancestry, our history, our story. We were never commoners. You see, we were the members of the staff of royal palaces. So I don't know what happens in between that India had not started the non-acceptance of these third gender community. I think after the British rule was introduced, but now they are again gaining like we have seen certain judgments in which Section 377 was abolished. I don't remember that judgment. What was that judgment about?
Navtej Singh Johar.
Section 3, yeah, Navtej Singh Johar judgment in Section 377, and now this recent development that is happening that which is about to welcome the transgender in the army. So yeah, so it is a good development. So Samruddhi, you had shared an article on your Instagram page about the rare metal found in Satluj sand.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, so can you
interesting
share some?
development.
Yeah.
Yes. In Satluj basin, because this
Mm-hmm.
metal is we can say critical mineral, because we define critical minerals which are used in critical energies as semiconductors or EVs. So tantalum, this particular metal, is used in semiconductors, capacitors, for say various things, like which we use lithium or any other mineral right now. Uh, Tantalum is ductile, it's corrosion resistant, and it has high melting point also. Obviously, it has high melting point.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very positive light development uh, in favor of India.
Mm. And its atomic number is 73 if someone wants
Okay.
to note down.
Okay.
Yeah, so the next topic was about Indo-Pacific Economic Framework that we have already seen that it is based on actually four pillars. One was trade pillar, another was about I think supply chain, and third was about the green energy, and fourth was about the free economy. So any country belong to that framework, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, is free to join any of the pillars, and it is not mandatory to join all of the pillars. It is voluntary. So India has not joined the trade pillar, and recently all the 14th member of this uh, bloc has signed an agreement on the supply chain resilience system. So, and interesting thing to note down is India is a part, US is a part, but China and Russia are not the part of this framework. And on the other hand, Asia Pacific Economic Framework, India is not the part of that. Asia Pacific Economic Framework Summit. So
Okay,
that is the basic things to
this can come in
about.
MCQs. Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, Ghol fish was in news.
Yeah. It is no,
You
it is
have
known as lottery fish for
hmm,
fishermen, and it is
hmm.
found from Persian Gulf to Pacific, including Indian
I
Ocean.
I was
Produce.
amazed to see the cost of this fish.
How
Have
much it
you
is?
seen that it is 5,000 to 10,000 per kg?
Dollars,
5,000 to 15,000 rupees
rupees. Okay.
per kg. Even if
Okay.
even if in rupees, it is a way uh, beyond our what we can affordability. So
Okay. I don't eat fish, so I'm not sure how to compare it. But yeah, I'm sure it's of very much
yeah, a
economic
good
use because state of Gujarat has declared it as a state fish.
good quality fish we can found here around 300 or 400
Okay.
rupees
Okay.
per kg. So comparing to that, it is a luxury thing. So that should be our goal. In someday we will become so rich that we can afford this goldfish at least for a day. Okay, so
Sure.
coming on to the next topic, collegium system was in news. So collegium system is being in news very much and discussed by many of our political leaders that this is not in mentioned in the constitution, still it is functioning. So there are certain case laws that is related to collegium system. Can you name any of them?
Yeah, we have three judges
Three judges.
cases. Yeah. I don't I don't remember the names, but we have three
I think
those things. And then last one is
case
NJAC.
first case was SP Gupta versus Union of India in 1982,
Hmm.
and the second case was about the SCARA, Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India. In that case, the collegium was formed, comprising of Chief Justice of India plus two senior most members of the Supreme Court. So that was the basic collegium, which was later expanded to Chief Justice of India plus four senior most members in the third judge's case in 1998. And since then, um, the collegium is deciding on the appointment of the in the Supreme Court of the Supreme Court judges as well as the transfer of High Court judges. And this same collegium also involves in the appointment of High Court judges along with the High Court. High Court have different collegium, but this certain members of this collegium are also part of that High Court collegium. So directly or indirectly, on the higher court level, that is High Court and Supreme Court level, uh, these members are involved in the appointment as well as. And when I say appointment, I don't mean that official appointment letter. Obviously, it is being signed by the President of India. But appointment means selection of who will become the judge and who will to be transferred
Yes.
from this high court to that high court is done by the
Refer
collegium
to,
system
yeah. They
itself.
refer the
Yeah.
names of judges to government and then it's a long process actually. It goes back
Uh,
and forth.
another very another very important news was about investor risk reduction access.
Hmm.
If you know investor risk reduction access, can you tell some insight about that?
Yeah, it is basically just to stop the technical glitches, to address the technical glitches which come during the trading online,
Hmm.
and to increase the speed of trading, I guess.
So
And it
it
is
has
formed
been
by
l-
many
hmm.
institutions, SEBI, then no,
SEBI
which
has
one?
launched it, and it has been developed by the stock exchanges across the
Stock
India. That
exchange.
is
Yes.
uh, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock
Hmm.
Exchange, and all the other stock exchanges involved. And this is for only for technical glitches. That means in the time where the main system is not working, the technical glitch happen, then this system will come into effect, and this is not for normal working. So the SEBI chairman has also said that we wish that we do not need to need to use the investor risk reduction access. That means uh, it is a something emergency basis. It is being
Hmm.
used something
Hmm.
on the basis of emergency basis. Okay.
Right.
So another important news was about rare disease. So rare disease, just definition of rare disease will be enough to for us for the UPSC. So let me read the.
So what's the definition?
Yeah, let me read the definition. I have noted it down. Yeah, here it is. So a condition is considered to be a rare disease if its prevalence is less than one case per thousand population.
Okay.
But that means if we calculate it in the percentage term, it will be 0.1%.
Okay.
And moreover, that around 6 to 8% of the population is estimated to have a rare disease of India,
Hmm.
not in the world. So meaning 8.4 crore or 10 crore Indians are living in with these conditions for which treatment either do not exist or therapies are extremely expensive.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. So moving on. So a very good article was about the Casgevy, which is a gene editing tool. So it has been used by the UK, and UK has become the first country to approve the use of Casgevy. So it is a very important gene editing tool which is using the CRISPR-Cas9 to cure about the sickle cell disease. So
Hmm.
that is a small thing. I think we have less time left, so we
Yeah.
should try to wind up. And there was a
Yes.
Mangrove Alliance for Climate which was launched in COP27. So there was an article about the mangrove army in the Indian Express. And another news was about the very important news about the deep space optical communication, which has been tested by NASA. NASA, the same organization which prepares a diet plan for many footballers, if you know what I mean. We'll tell you later.
Okay. Off the camera
Uh,
things.
yeah. So the Psyche spacecraft that has been launched by the NASA
Hmm.
has actually used this deep space
Right. Right.
optical communication. Generally, what we do that we use radio waves for the communication, but it has certain limitations. Like it get diverted easily, and it cannot it cannot carry high speed data and high definition data. So to carry high definition data, we need certain high bandwidth, but this is not possible with the radio waves because this has a high wavelength which decreases the bandwidth. So
Hmm.
this is a very good technology that has been developed by NASA. So it is being used for the space optical communication, deep space communication. So it is a news in making. We will see if so see the its development in the upcoming videos.
Okay.
So yeah, so that is all about the last week's important news. And one was about the Magellanic Clouds. It is a satellite galaxy actually.
Okay.
And another news was about Euclid that has been launched by European Space Agency. It is the same. Its job is almost similar to what James Webb Space Telescope is doing, which
Hmm.
is being launched by the NASA, ESA, Canadian Space Agency combinedly. So Euclid has been launched by European Space Agency, and the James Webb Space Telescope is obviously pioneered by
Yes.
NASA, but also held by European and Canadian Space Agency. So yeah,
Yes.
that was all from the last week's newspaper discussion. So we have still one.
This week, the this video is discussing from 20th November to 26th. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, 25th.
Okay.
Yeah,
The next Sunday will come up with another video with discussion from 27th to 3rd December. 27th November to
yeah,
3rd December. Right? Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are ending the video.